Hi, everyone. I'm Denise O'Malley, the founder of You Define Wellness, and welcome to another session of the Defining Wellness Confab. If you've been following along, you know I'm doing 48 of these over a short period of time with health and wellness experts. And our theme has been being the director of your own healthcare. And when you are stepping out of traditional medical insurance and finding other paths to taking care of yourself, then you don't always know who to turn to. So what I'm doing is I'm introducing you to my friends. I'm introducing you to the health and wellness professionals in the You Define Wellness Network so that you can learn from them and hopefully connect with them after you've watched this video. So it is my pleasure tonight to introduce you to one of our providers who focuses on parenting. And I have with me today Mary Dravis-Parrish with Simple Strategies for Family Living. And Mary, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here and to connect with parents on this level and this topic of stress and how you can take control of that.
Well, I need it as a parent of teenagers. So I'm going to sit back, I'm going to watch and enjoy what you have to say, and you can take over controls anytime you wish.
All right, so I'm just going to bring up my PowerPoint here, so give me just a moment. Whoops, that's not it. Hang on just a second. There it is. And we'll put it in the slideshow. There we go. So yes, thank you, Denise. I am talking about stress-free parenting tonight. And I'm not going to address this from the point of view of what stress does to you physically, because there's lots of other ways that you can get that information from other experts. But I want to talk about how stress affects your parenting and your relationship with your children, and how by reducing your stress or eliminating it, you can actually have greater harmony in your family living. So as we move along here, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about myself. You can certainly learn more at my website, buparenting.com. But my clients call me their parent whisperer, and I really take that with such gratitude to be able to work with parents to coach them in different ways of parenting that create more ease. I have a radio show called BU Parenting on the Inspired Choices Network. You can find it on any podcast station out there. I'm the author of Empowered Parents, Empowering Kids. This is a guidebook for parents and a resource that you may find after this presentation that you'd like to have, because it will include a lot of the tools and techniques that I'm going to introduce you to tonight. Possibilities in Parenting is also a book that I contributed to, and it's a collaboration from 19 parents who talked about how they could get out of the box of parenting and approach it from a way that really honored them and their kids in a different way than they ever thought possible. I'm also a certified leader in laughter wellness, and find that laughter brings so much health and wellness to our lives, and so I also lead that. I'm the mother of 4 thriving adult children, and this is my dear little granddaughter that I am just thrilled to be with every week and to spend time with. So let's move on though. So what causes your stress? And what's important about this is to acknowledge and identify and uncover the causes of what's going on with your stress. Because so many times we can fall into the trap that, oh, this is just what parents go through, or this is what's expected, rather than really beginning to look at, this is causing me stress. So I'm going to go over some different points here, and I invite you to look at if any of these are true for you, to maybe jot them down or make a note about it, because I'm going to also show you how you can begin to reduce the amount of stress from these causes. So the first one is too many demands on you and your time. So these are some things to be aware of, like how much are you trying to fit into a day? Are you trying to meet the needs of everyone? And what's that about? How many activities do you think your kids need? And how much are you trying to meet their demands for everything that they're asking of you? So just some questions to be in awareness of, as far as what do you know is happening for you? So the next one is your kids and maybe other people in your family or your partner. They're not cooperating with you. They don't listen to you. You feel like there's a lack of respect. And things begin to seem like they're hard to accomplish because nobody's helping you out. And there's no flow or ease or even joy because everything is a struggle with getting people to get on board with you. All right, feeling like you failed as a parent. This is that lack of confidence, feeling like you should be doing more, like you're not doing enough. Your kids aren't turning out the way you thought they would. You're taking responsibility for their actions and their choices, and you're not recognizing that your kids do have their own journey. And while, yes, as parents, we do have an effect on our kids, when we're in these stress modes, we are having an effect on our kids. And when you feel like a failure, you're having an effect on your kid. So recognizing that each of these causes, we'll just call them causes, or what's showing up for you, does definitely have effects on your kids as they watch you go through this and they see how you are dealing with it. The next one is you constantly worry about your kids. Now, I know in this day and age, there are so many things that we are bombarded with about what we need to be doing for our kids, for their health. You know, do I get them vaccinated? What foods do I give them? And then if they do come in with some health issues, what am I supposed to, how do I do that? How do I trust the health practitioners? All of these things, their well-being, their safety, peer pressure, drugs, alcohol, how do I protect them? And I will tell you that any of this worrying that you do, while some of it might just seem to overtake you, it's not really going to change anything. And it only adds more stress to your life. And then there's these stresses from these emotions that we carry. Resentment. Parenting's not what I thought it would be. I've had many parents come to me and say, I don't like being a parent. And once they can say that, there's like a load that lifts, because it's not that they don't like their children. They don't like parenting the way that they think they have to parent. And then there's guilt that comes in, and there's shame. How much shame are you carrying from your past choices, from your childhood, from, past times? Anger, fear, all of these emotions add stress. And you'll find that there's even some deeper things about these emotions that we'll come to later. Lots of parents feel really alone, and they don't feel like they have any support. They may be single parents, but they may also be in a two-parent family. I know I felt like this for a long time, that nobody got me, nobody was there to support me. But I also realized that I really had this attitude that I can do this alone, that I had this 2-year-old wording of, me do it. And, after a while you just feel really alone and isolated. And that's adds a lot of stress. And finally, financial means. Raising a family adds to your financial considerations and how you're going to take care of the finance needs that your family has. And so while finances are always a stress, we want to be aware of how that is showing up in our life, because kids are watching us and they're listening to us and they're developing their own sense of beliefs. And that's true with all of these causes. All right, so let's keep going here. So why does this keep happening? It's time to acknowledge our hidden programs. And these are the things that are driving these causes to actually show up in your life. And this was really huge awareness for me as a parent, that your subconscious, like it's the motherboard of your programming, it's what drives everything. And in your subconscious, which was formed in your first 5 years of life based on the perception of the people around you, your environment, all the things that were put on you as real and true, and you weren't given a filter or a way to process that. But it's not too late now, because you can still process these, but we've got to be aware of what's going on in our subconscious, because it's kind of like The subconscious rules everything, and it's like an autopilot. It's for those, it's running, it's running when it's those times when you keep doing the same thing over and over and you don't want to. You keep trying to do something different. But let's get to it. So let's look at what runs that subconscious. We're going to look at our beliefs. And your beliefs were formed, again, at this very early age. And so it's like you have a 5-year-old running your belief system. And what does your 5-year-old know? Well, it doesn't know what you know now. And it doesn't know to ask some different questions. And so when we begin to look at our beliefs and we change those, then things can begin to change. But there are elements that run around these beliefs. So for tonight, I'd like to take the belief that parenting is hard. And I'd like to begin to play with that. And if you know that you have some other belief running, then you can use that as we go along here. But be with me, because a lot of parents really believe that parenting is hard. And I will say that parenting creates some challenges, and it can create some difficulties and some unknowns that we don't know. But if we have this belief running in our head that parenting is hard, then we're going to make everything in our life align with that belief. And so we're going to have some of those causes that we ran into. We're going to take on more than we can handle. We're going to, run into people not listening to us because we're going to make things harder than they need to be. So let's start changing that belief. And let's say instead of parenting is hard, let's begin with, I can handle parenting and I can handle it with ease. And while you may not know that, or you may not be familiar or comfortable with that, or that may not be your experience, when you begin to place that there instead of parenting is hard, and you bring that reminder to you and you practice it, it's going to begin to override the parenting is hard. So let's take a look at our thoughts. If your thoughts are around, why is this so hard? My kids make my life so hard. When your thoughts are things like that, then you're aligning with the belief parenting is hard. So now we need to change our thought about what's hard. And we might even replace those thoughts with questions. What would make this easier? Is there any place that I'm really making this hard? How can I make this easier than I ever thought it could be? What else is possible here? Beginning to change your thoughts and your beliefs together brings something more into alignment. Now, the next thing that needs to be brought into alignment are your words. These are the words that you speak. And what I love about words is when I work with parents, I get to listen to the words that they say. And they give me a clue as to those words are what their beliefs are about. Like if I hear, this is just so hard, this is too hard for me, I don't know what to do. Or if I can hear them saying, it's just so hard because my kids don't listen to me. Or it's so hard, there's so much to do and I don't know I can't get it all done in a day. I can just feel the stress that they're taking on from that belief about parenting is hard. And it could even be that life is hard, right? And so now we have to begin to change our words. And so I will ask them, so instead of being hard, what else could it be? What would you like it to be instead of being hard? And there's where the work kind of begins, where you get to transform it into something else. All right, so moving along. So these beliefs, these thoughts, these words, they're going to drive our emotions. And so just be with that belief, parenting is hard. Life is really hard. Raising kids is really hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. It's so hard that nobody works with me. It's so hard that I feel so tired at the end of the day. And now check into where your emotions are with those words, right? Kind of down, right? You're just going downhill. All right, so now let's switch that over to, I got this. I know parenting presents its challenges, but I've got this. I can create parenting with more ease. There's an ease to parenting. I'm choosing to have more ease with my parenting. the kids are going to listen to me. It's going to be easier for me to talk to my kids. Notice the uplifting. Notice the confidence. Notice how the emotions just shifted upward, right? And that's all just been done by choice of rewording. And when you actually begin to put this into more and more practice, everything else will start to change because you're no longer creating the hardness of parenting or life. And the last element that goes with these hidden programs are our actions, how we react to things. If parenting is really hard, then you may find yourself really becoming angry, frustrated, yelling at the kids, unhappy, depressed, hating that you're a parent, like what in the world am I doing? And that may not be how you feel all the time, but you might have these moments of that. But when we begin to shift the beliefs, the thoughts, the words, the emotions, and we begin to say, what else can I do to create more ease here? What else can I do? Oh, well, instead of yelling at the kids, I think I'm just going to be quiet. And let's see what that creates. See, looking and choosing that you have different way to act. This is all about empowering you. All right, to keep moving along here, there's so much that I'd like to share with you. All right, so here's a tool, the power of questions. Questioning is the way that we get empowered to change things. And by being curious. See, and this is all from the point of view that I'm not judging myself. We have to become really adept at looking at what's going on for us and letting go of any judgment. So I like to use these types of questions. Who does this belong to? So parenting is hard. Now, where did that come from? Who does that really belong to? Is this belief mine? And see, when I get the awareness that it's not mine and that I picked it up when I was like really little, or I just bought into it because that's what every other parent has said, or that's what my parents said, or whatever it was, it doesn't really matter who it belongs to, but that it doesn't belong to you. And I'm going to teach you something that you can do with that once you come into that awareness. But you've got to come into this awareness that this isn't mine. Because this isn't what I would create. I wouldn't choose for parenting to be hard. Because you do have choice in that matter. Who am I being? So when I create and I live from this belief that parenting is hard, who am I really being? You know, I can remember my younger years of parenting. I always wanted to be just like my mom. And so as I would talk to my kids, it would be like, oh, I am being just like my mom, because it's exactly what my mother would say. And this is not to discredit or dishonor my mother. She's a wonderful woman, but it's not me. And I can still pick up some of those other things that, I don't know if they worked for my mom, but they don't work for me. Parenting is hard, is not what I would choose. So I can let go of being other people. I can let go of trying to fit into somebody else's box or comparing myself like I need to be like the parent next door. Really, this is about stepping in and empowering you to be you. Now take a look at what your expectations are. What do you expect of yourself as a parent? And what do you expect of your kids? And are they realistic? They may be grand and noble. I need my kids to grow up to be good kids and outstanding citizens and all of this. And if they're not, then it's a reflection of me. And, you know, that totally disempowers your kids. But I know that that's where a lot of parents come from. And so are these expectations yours, or do they belong to someone else? So again, coming into this awareness of what do you truly want to create as a parent with your children? What am I not being aware of, and what do I know about this? You know, we often fall into this thing of, oh, I don't know. I don't know what my kids need. I don't know what to do. I don't know. And the more you say that, these are those words that give you clues, that the more you say, I don't know, the more you will not know. So when you turn it around and you ask the question, well, what do I know about this? And you start with what you know. Well, I know that when I yell, my heart races. I know that when I yell at my kids, I get this sad face looking back at me. And when you start going with what you know, I know that when I take on so many activities, I feel really tired at the end of the day. Then you can step into even more stuff that you're going to know. And you're going to step into more of knowing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You're going to step into having this power, this empowerment to like be aware. And now, okay, so why would I keep choosing that? So being curious, and these are just some examples of questions that you can begin to use to open up your awareness about what's going on for you. I like this one. Am I trying to prove something? Now, I know for many years, I was trying to prove I was a good parent. And then I had to judge myself all the time. I also needed to prove that I could do it on my own. That when, my partner couldn't be there, then I could do this, and I'd be really stubborn about asking for help. So is there something that you're trying to prove in the way that you're parenting? And I'm really going to ask you to dig deep and to bring that out into the light, because when you do, there's a moment of liberation that you don't need to prove anything. Oh my gosh. Okay. And what do I need? Don't forget about yourself. You have needs, and you need to take care of you and to do what you need. That will not make you feel like everything else is controlling your life and that you don't have any control. Do you need to take time for yourself? Do you need to go for a walk? Do you need to have a massage? Do you need some different type of time with your kids? This what do you need is for you, and for you to know and to step into what would really change things here if I took better care of myself. Okay. So moving away from stressful situations, I'm going to invite you to journal and to make some notes about things. There's really something that happens when we write things down and we use our brain in that way. We become more connected to it. We build different neural pathways. If you begin to write down your different beliefs, your new beliefs of what you know is true for you, instead of parenting is hard, what is it for you? And you write that down. And you write it down every day and you look at it and you ask questions. It's going to begin to change even more so for you. So it's a strong tool to write things down. But here are some things that I'd like for you to focus on as you journal. The first one is, what's working for me? You've got to acknowledge what's going for you. What is working? Because that helps build up your confidence too. It really worked for me today to make the kids' lunches last night. I was less stressed. Or it really worked for me to take my morning walk before the day got started. Whatever it is for you, acknowledge those things and write them down. And then take a moment to what would it take to create more of what that is, what that's creating for you. It doesn't mean that how can I get my walk in 3 times a day? It might just mean the energy that I got from that walk, that peace, that calm, that's what I'm looking for. And how can I invite more of that into my life? Now, on the other side of that, on the other side of the coin, what isn't working for you? It didn't work for me to yell at my kids when I was tired and frustrated. It didn't work for me to come home hungry and tired and not have anything planned for dinner. So whatever it is that's not working for you, again, acknowledging what's not working for you and stepping out and asking, and what's needed to change this? What can I do to change this? And it's just sometimes just a little tweak where it's just like, okay, I got to plan something different. I've got to put some thought into what my day is going to look like. All right, so we're going to eliminate the causes. And we're going to take action. So with these awarenesses that are coming up for you, the awareness that's coming up when you ask the question, who am I being? Or what is that all about? Or what do I know about that? Or what are my words that I'm saying? What are the thoughts that I'm using that is creating this? And here's what we're going to do. We're going to begin to bust out of them. So I'm going to give you some different tools to use. You can play with them and see what they do for you. So the first one, so let's take that point of view that parenting is hard. And I want you to just say in your head, that's an interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Wow, it's really interesting that I think parenting is hard. That's an interesting point of view. And I want you to repeat that over and over and over, however you want. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. And then after a while, what you'll find is the energy on it shifts. You may even find yourself laughing at it because it is just an interesting point of view. It does not need to be your fixed point of view or your fixed belief. It's just an interesting one. And as long as it's interesting, you can do whatever you want with it, which brings us into the next tool. You can send it back. Remember, it's not yours. Really, 99.9% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions aren't yours. They came from somewhere else, and you just took them on without any choice, and that's the key word, choice. So you can I like to just package it up with a little bow, put a little grace and consciousness on it, and just send it away forever. Like there's no return address, so it cannot come back. And play with this, have fun with it. Return it back however you would like, whatever that is for you. And that's removing it out of your energy field, sending it away. And the next one is, and this is one of my favorites, and that's destroy it and uncreate it. Take that parenting is hard thought, that belief, and what would you like to do with it? Like I like to just blow it up or zap it away, like it's gone. Like that's really connecting to your power. The power to destroy it and uncreate it. Bam, it's gone. And now, after you've done that, however you've released it, now you need to claim your new direction. You've got to claim it, be it, own it. What direction am I going to do now? I'm not going to yell at my kids today, so what am I going to do instead? I'm going to pretend I put duct tape on my mouth. And when they're going at it and I feel like I want to yell, I'm going to shut my mouth. Or I'm going to walk out of the room. Or I'm going to say, 1 moment, please. I'll be right back with you. And give yourself the time. Do something different. And if that doesn't work, there's always something else you can do. So choosing something different, visualizing, my zap thing got put on that. Visualize being that, what it feels like, what it sounds like, what it looks like, what you look like. How does it feel to not yell at your kids and to have some other plan? How does it feel to create some ease in parenting? Like just imagine what that's like. You've got to take on the energy of it. All right. Now I'm going to challenge you to be the creator and not the pawn. So often as parents, we fall into being the victim. Parenting is hard and I'm the victim of all of that. Oh, poor you. No way. Be the creator. Choose for you. Choose what works for you. Here's some questions. What would I like to be, do, or have instead of this anger, this frustration, this belief that parenting is hard? What would I like instead? What would you like to have instead? Don't buy that that's your only choice. You have other choices. If I choose to be, do, or have ease instead, what would my life be like? If I choose to be, do, or have peace and calm instead, what would my life be like? And be with that. Be with the energy of what that creates for you, because that's the energy that you're going to begin to get more comfortable with, so that when you're creating something not in that realm, you're going to know it. And be the energy of that choice. You have the power to do all of this. It just takes commitment on your part to saying, I can do this. And expect that you'll get it all at once. It's a process. And so just stick with it and don't judge yourself. All right. All of this has an impact on your children. So when you choose to have less stress by removing those beliefs, those thoughts, those words, those emotions, those actions, you and your children Your children can relate to you with more ease. They don't have to struggle so hard. They don't have to fight with your stress either. And your children will see how to handle stress through being empowered with your acknowledgments, your curiosity, your choice that you model for them. And finally, your children will not feel the need to make you happy. Therefore, they can focus on creating their own happiness. Yay! And you're not responsible for making them happy either. They'll know how to do it because they'll see you doing it. Yes, this is a win-win. So there's so much that we've covered here, but you can always come back and look at this again and revisit it. So we are here where there's a time for question and answers. But before we do that, I want to invite you to go to buparenting.com, and there's a free parent empowerment survey there with 14 questions that will help you identify your causes of stress. And it might even help identify the beliefs that you have running that you can begin to change. And when you take that survey, you will then be guided to possibilities of how to begin to change those elements that you're giving your power away. So there you have it. So Denise, here we are at the Q&A time.
Wow. I'm just blown away. That was so informative. And I'm sitting here as the parent of teenagers and a young adult and realizing, boy, I wish I had had some of this a long time ago, but I can implement a lot of it today. It doesn't matter at what stage your kids are. As well as working with my own parents in terms of parenting my parents. I think it's very helpful that way.
Well, and I think that's a great point, because I think I get so many parents who are parents of adult children, and they have this point of view that, oh, I'm done raising my kids. You probably are done raising them, but you're not done relating to them. And those same things that you had as you raised them are still there. So coming into that awareness can still change relationships with your adult children and really make them richer. And that's what I found with my adult children, because I didn't get these things until most of my kids were teenagers or older, and being able to apply them really helped strengthen our bond and our relationship, and helped me not take control over their life anymore.
Yeah. Well, what I'm seeing is that yours is a video that I want to go back to and visit again and again and again, because this is life, and we do not step out of being a parent. It continues, and we need that reinforcement, because it was an old record that just kept playing and playing and playing. It takes time to change that.
Yeah, but we've got to recognize that that's what it is, so that we can change it. And to know, and that's what I really want people to know, is that while it's going to take some effort and time, you can change it, and it's totally worth it for you and for your children and for all your relationships, actually, because it is a life process.
Well, this applies, yes, for life. It applies a lot in business, and especially of that, is this mine to own?
Mm-hmm.
No, and many times it's not. Especially when somebody else is blowing up. And we had a customer service issue today. It was a complete misunderstanding, but it was like, okay, I can't take it on because this was not mine to own, simply because it actually wasn't our company that he was upset with. So, things happen, and we just have to be able to step away and understand all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this
great.
is awesome.
I'm just going to put up this last slide so people know what I do offer.
Yes.
One-on-one sessions, in person or online. I do classes. I have an online course. You can access all this stuff through the BU Parenting website, the radio show. There's weekly tips through my newsletter. So there's lots of resources for parents to have out there. And you can always contact me at parentwhispers@gmail.com. And that's about it for me. So I'm going to stop sharing this.
Here you go. So I have one really big question for you that we didn't cover, and that is, I know that you're based in Fort Collins, Colorado. Are you only able to see people here, or are you able to work with anyone anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world. So I've worked with people in Holland and Germany and Brazil. And so, of course, and throughout the United States. So yeah, we can do sessions through Zoom, telephone, Skype.
Yeah, and that's what I just love bringing to everyone's attention is that if you're, obviously this video will be out on YouTube and circulating all over the place. So who knows where somebody will see it and know that you have this resource. You don't have to be here in Colorado with us in order to take advantage of it. And having said that, this is my opportunity to talk about the fact that Mary here is a part of the You Define Wellness Network. And I want to explain what that is because it's really important. If you're out looking for health and wellness professionals, you're Googling away and you'll come up with some directories or Yelp or something like that, but you really don't know anything about the person behind it, the person behind the name on the page. At You Define Wellness, all of our network providers have gone through a background investigation. We've done a criminal background investigation. We are looking at their licenses that they hold that are regulated by the states, and if there's any disciplinary actions or stipulations against them, we're doing a reputation check. There's a lot that goes into the process, and so when you access our provider directory at youdefinewellness.com, you know those people have gone through that background. And while it shouldn't be your end-all, be-all and making your decisions who you're working with, it's at least a process that you know that they have had to go through. And we have hundreds of health and wellness professionals across the United States, and we are growing by leaps and bounds. And whether you're a client of ours or not, you are welcome to use our provider directory to find someone to work with. But having a provider directory, what it does is it gives us an opportunity to do things. One of which is to create an employee benefit program for the market so that you can access people like Mary that may not be a part of your medical plan. And we have over 130 different types of services ranging from massage and chiropractic to vision and dental and coaching and counseling, and you name it, we probably have it on there. And also with a provider directory, we can come up with an education catalog. So we have dozens of topics in there that are programs created by our health and wellness professionals in our network. Sorry, I just had something pop up on my screen. Use it for lunch and learns. Use our catalog to find a speaker for a community group or an association meeting. We have the people for you to access for those topics. And we also have an individual product as of now. We are launching it with this Defining Wellness Confab, which is a discount card. And it's because individuals came to us and said, we want to save money too. So we've created a Healthy Living Savings Card. It has a one-time purchase price of $99 and available through the end of this confab at half price. So for $49.50, you get a discount card that never expires. You can use it as many times in a month as you want. You can share it with your friends, your family, your next door neighbor, your coworkers, whoever presents that card to one of the providers who accepts the Healthy Living Savings Card will be able to reap the benefits of the discounts that they offer. And you can find out more about this at youdefinewellness.com. And the last thing I'm going to share with you is Mary's contact information. Again, she shared with you some before, but here's her phone number. Go to her website. Absolutely reach out to her and see if what she does can help you with what you are looking for. With that being said, Mary, thank you. I am so glad you did. This was a fantastic presentation, and I'm not just saying that, and I am looking forward to being able to share it out there because what you shared are some fabulous resources, and it's just the tip of the iceberg of working with you. There is so much more that you can do, and so we encourage all of you who are watching this recording to reach out, who are looking for some stress-free parenting, and you do other things besides just stress-free parenting. What else do you focus on in your practice?
So for people who come and see me in person, I do an energy technique called access bars, which is really combining that with even if you're not a parent, like we can still do stress-free empowerment sessions to empower you to take control of your life. And also, I do the laughter, which I'm looking forward to doing a presentation at another confab about the laughter wellness and how that contributes to overall wellness for families, groups, businesses, so much. So yeah, there's lots.
Well, we have another one coming up January 7th through 9th, 2020, about the vision for healthy living. And that would be a really good one to have included in there.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Awesome. With that being said, again, thank you to you, and thank you to everyone watching this recording. No matter where you found the recording, hop over to YouTube, just youtube.com, and search for You Define Wellness in that search bar, and you will find our channel. And we invite you to follow us so you can learn more as we add more videos to it. We have all kinds of fun ones coming up, and we have 48 we're posting with the Defining Wellness Confab, plus a bunch more that have been on there before, just to help you in become the director of your own healthcare. So with that being said, good night to everyone. Thank you for joining us again, and we hope to see you on another recording.